Hey guys, welcome back to another Minecraft novel. I hope you enjoyed the last one. If this is your first one, make sure you subscribe. We are excited to have you. We're going to be reading Minecraft The End today. It is chapter 1. It is titled You and Me and Us and Them. It starts on page 5 and goes to page 16, and I hope that you enjoy. It is always night in the end. There is no sunrise. There is no sunset. There are no clocks ticking away. But that does not mean there is no such thing as time or light. Ring after ring of pale yellow islands glow in the darkness, floating in the endless night. Violet trees and violet towers twist up of the earth into the blank sky. Trees full of fruit, towers full of rooms. White crystal rods stand like candles at the corners of the tower roofs and balconies, shining through the shadows. Sprawling, ancient, quiet cities full of these towers glittering all along the archipelago, purple and yellow like everything else in this place. Beside them float great ships with tall masts. Below them yawns a black and bottomless void. It is a beautiful place, and it is not empty. The islands are full of Endermen, their long, slender black limbs moving over like yellow hills and little yellow valleys. Their narrow purple and pink eyes flash. Their thin black arms swing to the rhythm of a soft whispering music, plotting their plots and scheming their schemes in the tall, twisted buildings, older than even the idea of a clock. They watch everything. They say nothing. Shulkers hide in boxes nestled in ships and towers, little yellow-green slugs hiding from outsiders. Sometimes they peek out, but they snap their boxes safely shut again, like clams in their shells, the gentle thudding sound of their cubes opening and closing in the heartbeat of the end. And on the central and largest island, enormous obsidian towers surround a small pillar of gray stone, ringed with torches. A brilliant lantern gleams from the top of each tower, a flame in a silver cage shooting beams of light down from the towers into the grass, across a little gray courtyard, and out into the black sky above it all. Something slowly circles, something huge, something with wings, something that never tires. Round and round it goes, and its purple eyes glow like furious fire. Fin. The word came zinging through the shade of the shore of one of the other islands. A huge end city loomed over most of the land. Telos. Telos sprouted out of the island highlands like something alive. Great, pe- great pedagogues and pavilions everywhere. White shimmers fell from the glistening end rock rods. Shulkers clapped in their little boxes, lashed to Telos like a dog floated a grand purple ship, a pirate ship without an ocean to sail. Most of the end cities had ships attached to them. No one was certain why, and more than they're certain who built all those big, strange cities in the first place. Not the Endermen, though. They were happy to name every place after themselves. Not the thing flying in the endless circles around a gate to nowhere. Not the shulkers who never came out of hiding long enough to learn anything about anything. The end ships were, as the cities just were, as the end just was like clouds of diamonds or Tuesdays. Finn, find anything good? A shiny young Enderman teleported quickly across the island, in and out of the nooks and crannies of Telos. He blinked off in one place and back on in another until he stood on the deck of the end ship, holding something in his arms. His head was handsome, black and square. His eyes were bright and hungry. His limbs were slim but strong. An Enderman leaned against the mast, waiting for him. She crossed her dark arms across her thin chest. Nah, the Enderman thought loudly. The words just appeared. In the other Enderman's mind, Enderman had no need for mouths or ears, no need for sound. Telepathy was so much easier than talking. You just thought at somebody and they understood you. Nothing good. Mo. Just a bunch of pearls. We've got tons of those. Ugh, you take them. They give me the creeps. I was sure the chest plates we found last week would regen by now, but I guess somebody else got there first. I got some redstone ore. That's about it. You go next time. You always sniff off the good stuff. The twin 12-year-old Endermen, brother and sister, Finn and Mo, headed down into the guts of their ship. Finn was technically 3 minutes older, but he didn't make a big deal out of it. Things like who Things like who was older and who wasn't smacked of rankings, of structure, of order, and order wasn't welcome in the end. They'd always lived here. They couldn't remember any other place. They grew up here. It was their home, no different from any of the hundreds of Endermen you'd find on any island in the archipelago. They lived on an end ship crammed with junk they've snatched up from everywhere they could find it. Some of it was very good junk, diamonds and emeralds, gold ore and lapis lazuli, enchanted iron leggings, pickaxes of every kind, beetroot seeds, and chorus fruit saddles and horse armor. Though they'd never seen a horse, dozens of sets of marvelous gray wings you could stick right on your back and fly around anywhere you like. Some of it was just plain old actual junk, rocks and clay and sand and old books with broken spines. Finn and Mo didn't care. They were scavengers, and scavengers weren't picky. You never knew when you could really use some good old fashioned clay. The twin Endermen knew there were other worlds out there. It was only logical when you lived in a place called the End. If there wasn't an end, there had to be a beginning, somewhere else for this place to be the end. Somewhere the opposite of here, green and bright with blue skies and blue water full of sheep and pigs and bees and squid. Other Endermen went there all the time. They'd heard the stories, but this was their world. They were safe here, with their own things and their own kind. Finn and Mo's treasure piled up to the ceiling of the hold. The twins picked their way through their collection carefully. They'd done it 1,000 times. There was a well-worn path through the boots and swords and helmets and dragon heads and ingots, little spaces hollowed out for sitting and eating and living and pets. Hiya, Grumpo. Mo thought cheerfully at the shulker in his box on the far wall. He'd always been there, just like them. They'd never been able to get rid of him, even though they really could have used his spot for more loot. If they whacked on his box until it fell apart, it just came back the next day. Eventually they just given up and accepted him, gave him a name, let him guard the junk ship some days. You never knew when someone might try to raid your ship. When you had this much loot in one place, you had to stay sharp. Grumbo didn't really guard it so much as just sat there, hating everything, like he always did, but it made them feel safer. He wasn't just a shulker, he was their shulker. If it was him, they never wanted to pry. They respected the shulker's personal space. Hiya, Grumpo, thought back. He peeked out of his box. They caught a glimpse of his yellow-green head. I hate you. Okay, shrugged Finn. Good boy. I'm not, snapped Grumpo. I want to bite you. Arso, thought Mo. Who's a good boy? The shulker grumbled to himself and shut his box again. His last thought appeared in their heads. The letters were very small and angry. I'm a bad boy. I'll bite you tomorrow. You'll see. Mo and Finn dug out a basket of chorus fruits from behind a couple of blocks of ore. They divided them equally for lunch. Everything between them was equal, very carefully, very deliberately, almost militantly equal. The twins worked quietly and happily, side by side, and packed up their meal to take with them. Guard the ship, Grumpo, thought Finn and Mo. We're gonna go visit ED. Don't let anyone take our stuff. I hate the ship, complained Grumpo. Without opening his box, I hate you, I hate ED, I hate your stuff. Good talk, Grumpo. They laughed inside their great black square heads. Finn and Mo teleported out onto the deck of the end ship. The black sky looked so pretty, with the city sparkling nearby, but they weren't headed to the city. They blinked in and out sight as they teleported across the island chain. Their ender pearls glowed hot with each jump. In a moment or two they'd reached the central island. Crowds of Endermen moved between the obsidian towers. Beams of light from the caged lanterns shot out into the dark. Greetings. Humbent Pa, Finn thought to tell elderly Endermen they often saw out here. All hail the great chaos. May the great chaos smile upon you. Juvenile male, Pa, replied solemnly. It was the traditional answer. All Endermen worshipped the great chaos. The universe was divided into chaos and order. Overworlders believed in order, but Endermen knew it was a lie. Always and forever a lie. The biggest lie ever told. In the overworld, people believed you could build a fortress strong enough to keep anything out, that you could actually make something perfect, something that would last. Only Endermen, servants of the great chaos, seemed to understand that this was folly. It was their holy duty to prove it. Life was so much better when you understood the truth. Anything could happen, anytime, to anyone and anything. The great chaos came for everyone sooner or later. It would come from for the whole universe someday. The Enderman's duty was to help it along any way they could. The holiest pilgrimage and the Enderman could make was to journey to the overworld, witness the constructions of the forces of older and sabotage them, remove one block from a cozy house, and the great chaos work could begin. Rain or fire could fall through the roof, creepers could sneak through a hole in the foundation, thieves could crawl through the clean and clean you out. Order was so boring. Wasn't life so much more interesting once you let the chaos in? Greetings, Humbent Lop, Mo, thought to an Enderman who was surrounded by glowing purple sparks, starting off the edge of the island. All hail the great chaos. Greetings, Mo, Lop replied. I await the return of my Ender frags. They departed to the overworld to hunt order and destroy it. I am tremendously proud of my fragments. They will bring glory to our end. I'm sure they'll be back soon, Mo thought comfortingly. The Enderman turned to stare down at them. She was so tall. Something strange flickered in her magenta eyes. Are you alone? Are you weakened? Do you require instack with a humming of superior strength and power? Mo took a step back. Mature Endermen could get very cagey about a juvenile on her own with no guardians around and disturb them somewhere deep in their bones, and Mo didn't like the way the big Enderman thought, all stiff and formal and spiky, long words and too many of them. Kids didn't think like that. Finn and Mo didn't, and neither did any of their younger Endermen they'd met. Some enchantment must fall on you when you come of age that turned you into a snob. But of course, Lop thought this way only because there were so many other Endermen milling around the Ender's Dragon Island. Alone, an Enderman was angry, primitive, little better than a bear who's been hit on the head quite a lot. Only in groups did their thoughts grow, all those long and interesting spikes. A group of Endermen was called the End. That was their country. That was why their country was called the End. All the Endermen together, the biggest end there could be, within an end. There were many different individuals, each in a different cycle of life. Ender frags were juveniles that fragmented off from a pair of mature hunbits. Nunbits were fully grown Endermen who had not yet replicated to start their own ends. Finally, there were Crux units, the great ancient ancestors that had replicated alone and started their ends out of nothing but themselves, coming together with other Endermen to smarten up and get things done was called Ender stacking. Of course, it was easiest within the unit's fragments of your own end. They know and used tints before you were replicated, but Endermen could stack with any other Enderman and grow stronger, smarter, safer, sneakier. That was the Lop. That is what Lop was offering. Safety. One brick isn't much, thought, though it can hurt if it falls on you. But 100 altogether are a wall. But Mo didn't want it. She had Finn. That was enough. It had always been enough. When she stacked with Endermen who were not Finn and one other she was trying to not think about just now because it was just so distracting to think about Khan and Mo had things to do today. It made her itch all over until she wanted to claw her skin off. It made her want to cry. It filled her so full of energy she could barely keep from running and jumping and somersaulting in circles like an idiot. Mo might have been smarter in stacking, but she never felt smarter because she couldn't concentrate for all the itching and crying and somersaulting. Maybe that would all go away in a few years when she became a nun-bit bunnet. Mo and Finn were still Enderfrags, just barely. Or maybe Mo was just a mess. Definitely a possibility. No, I'm fine, Mo thought fiercely. Are you certain? Though the huge Enderman with growing concern, I am available. I am excellent, Hunbunnet. My teleportation and fighting abilities are unequaled. I'm fine, Mo shouted in her head and ran toward Finn. She did not look behind her, and the inner dragon flew around and around and around, roaring as it went. It dipped and dove between the towers, coming to rest every so often of the small gray courtyard in the middle of the island. There, it roared some more, then took off again. Finn and Mo teleported up to the top of one of the black pillars. They settled down on the dark stone beside the lantern and watched the inner dragon for a while. It was their favorite thing to do, no matter how long you watched the ED. As they called the beast the dragon, never got any smaller or less scary or less interesting. All those numbly scales along its spine, those amazing wings, those huge purple eyes, every time it passed by they shivered. Every time it passed by they shivered with excitement and fear, but mostly excitement. Do you ever want to go there? Mo asked, munching on her coarse fruit. Where, Finn? Finn tracked the Ender Dragon with his eyes. He wasn't really listening to his twin, who could listen to a sibling when there was a dragon around. It was resting on a little stone courtyard way down on the ground, the overworld. Why? There's humans there. Humans were the worst thing that he knew about. Worse than the void you could so easily fall into. Worse than grown up Endermen. Worse than thieves after you loot. Way worse than Grumpo. Humans hated Endermen. They killed Endermen and stole their hearts. The Ender pearls that every Enderman was born with. The jewels that gave them the power to teleport. Who did that? Who stole hearts? I don't know. Mo stretched her long, dark legs. Meet new people. Destroy them. Get more loot. Something to eat that's not chorus. Fruit. Serve the great chaos. Mo, you know what happened to our Hubunits. They went into the overworld and never came back. If not for the overworld, we would still have an end. They got caught in the rain, Mo remembered a horrible memory. Rain was poison to their people. Standing in a summer storm was like standing beneath a million silver bullets. It could happen to anyone. That's what the great chaos teaches. It gives and it takes. It could happen to you or me, or Grumpo. It could happen to Lops Enderfrags. She stands there waiting for them every day. Have you ever seen Lop's fragments? No, Mo thought softly. Finn flicked a coarse fruit over the edge of the pillar. It floated down to the yellow earth. There you go. It does happen to anyone. How many Endermen do we lose every week? May their noble sacrifice hasten the reign of the great chaos. Mo thought poisonously. Yeah. But guess who does the forces of order's dirty work? Humans. All of our problems are because of humans. It's because of humans we can't even remember what our hunbuts look like. It's because of humans we can't just pop up the overworld for a nice picnic whenever we feel like it. It's not worth it anyway. I promise. Nothing up there is better than what we have here. The only good reason to visit the overworld is to serve the great chaos. And I thought I wouldn't even do that unless I was sick of being alive. What could be more chaotic than refusing to serve anybody, after all? Finn followed the purple spores floating around his skin with his eyes. That was how you could tell an Enderman was talking, even if you couldn't hear it. The little glittering violet lights of their telepathy at work flittered all around them. Is that what our Humbents were doing? Serving, sacrificing? I think so. I like to think so. That would mean us being orphans was something more than just a stupid, mean joke the great chaos played on us for fun. Vengeance. Mo thought casually. We could hunt down humans all night long. It might be fun. Steal their hearts for a change. Mo. The overworld is dangerous. It takes people away. Why risk it? I guess you're right. Besides, we have everything we need right here. She squeezed his dark, thin hand. The lantern light sparkled everywhere. We need right here. She squeezed his dark, thin hand. The lantern light sparkled everywhere. It was the most beautiful night the twins could imagine, just like every night. Finn put his long, angular black arms around his twin and rubbed her square head affectionately. Oh, she thought, it's coming close this time. The Ender Dragon soared toward them, catching the light from each lantern it passed. Good afternoon, Edie. Mo waved shyly as the creature swooped down toward their pillar. They often tried to talk to it, though it was not tame. It rarely spoke back. But today, something different happened. The Ender Dragon turned its boxy black head toward them. It opened its great mouth. Inside, its insides glowed violet. Hail to the Thee and Mercy, Mo Fragment. Its thought blazed and crackled in her head, bigger and louder than any Enderman's. Mo froze, a coarse fruit halfway to her face. It knows my name. How does it know my name? You must be famous, thought Finn. Mo felt his jealousy sizzle in her head. The inner dragon banked and came around again. It screeched into the void. Heart fragment, Finn. It knows my name too. Wow. The inner dragon turned sharply around a distant pillar. Hark? What kind of noise is that? Is it sick? Is it going to throw up? You got all that stuff about mercy. I got hark. It means hello. Mo giggled in the depths of her mind. Oh, hello. Edie. Hello. Hark. Maybe it'll be friends with us. Do you think, Mo? Mo wasn't sure. It was coming straight from for them now. The purple fire in its eyes didn't exactly look like it meant to make friends. This time, as the creature flew by, it dragged its dark wing over the top of their pillar, knocking them over like they weighed nothing at all. Now, go away, Ed bellowed in their minds. The crystal lantern next to them guttered in fear. The dragon's tail snapped in the air like a whip, and it drove away into the darkness. That was, Finn thought, so awesome. Mo finished for him. Their purple eyes glittered with glee. Mo grabbed a handful of the silver netting that surrounded the lantern. She could never resist a little more loot. Race you home, she thought happily, and vanished. Finn vanished after her. That wraps up chapter 1. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for chapter 2.